This ain't nothing new, it's what we been doing. This ain't nothing new, it's what we been doing. What we been doing, what we been doing. This ain't nothing new, it's what we been doing.
What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of what we've been doing. We're going to get right into changing the interior on this Cadillac CTS. As you can see, I removed the seats. I'm just showing everything. This is a long process, so this is going to be a part video. I don't even know how many parts I got. I just know I have a lot of film, and I like to dumb it down to about 15 minutes, somewhere near that time frame. So right now you see me, I'm cutting up my seats that weren't terrible seats. They just weren't the right color. And I tried to illustrate that shortly in the beginning of the video to show you that, the seats weren't terrible. I just wanted them to be a different color. But you see the black marks right there on the seats. Those are the what I call indexing marks. That's probably what they're actually called. But they just kind of like guidelines to show me how to put the material back together so that it's in the right spots and it fits the seat properly. So I'm going to go through this entire process on this first piece, and then if you continue to watch the video or watch the other parts, then you'll notice that I'll only show assembly of the seat, because the tracing and the measuring of this seat is a really long process, and it takes a lot of film or a lot of data, gigabytes, should I say, to record it. And so I'm only going to show this once, and then just know that it's the same exact process for every single piece. Right now, what you see me doing is I'm making the seam allowance. So what you do is you cut your piece out and you cut it right along the seams if you're going to trace it. And then after that, you build your seam around it, and then you sew on top of the actual line. That's how you get an exact piece, or as close to an exact piece as you could possibly get. So I gave myself a half-inch seam allowance, which might be a little bit of an overkill, but I figured if I did a 1/4-inch French seam, then I needed a half-inch so that it can fold back and layer over itself. And it worked out. The only thing is I made it uniform. I did every single piece half-inch all the way around. So the pieces that didn't have French seams, or the areas where I sewed the material together and it didn't have a French seam, it left a half-inch of material, which could be tasking at times. And I noticed, like, when I was disassembling the OEM seat covers of the car, that the seams weren't a half-inch. They were like a 1/4 all the way around for the most part, or less than a 1/4, or just over. So we're getting into the seam, to the assembly portion of this. I use staples to hold my pieces in place. And if you've seen when I was making those indexing marks, I draw the indexing marks that I use to put the stuff together. And then this is how I use them right here. I make sure they're together. You see that one was a little off, so I pulled the staple out of it, and then I line it back up and get it straight again. I like to use staples though, because it holds the material a lot better, and you can run it past the needle, or it's easier to miss the needle. I used to use pins and safety pins when I first learned, because I got taught myself how to sew, and like last year, 2 years ago, with the plan that I was going to end up doing an interior. The main reason why I taught myself was because I wanted to do upholstery. And you see I used a pin right there, but you see it's pulled out. But the reason for the pin is because I want to make sure the corners of those seams on both sides of the fabric are lined up. So I just push a pin all the way through and see where it lands. And if it lands on the corner of each seam line that I drew, then of course it's lined up the way I want it to. And so we're going to go ahead and sew that up. The machine that I'm using is a Brothers 979 machine. It's a walking foot machine. As you can see, Like you can see my arm over there on the side for a lot of it. I'm turning by hand. Like I turn by hand when I need to go slow. The machine is really, really fast. It's not a servo machine, and sometimes you just need to turn. So I just most of the time I'm sewing, it's I push the pedal just far enough to release the clutch, and I'm turning by hand, especially when I'm doing my French seams. But you saw me take my foot off there. It was a long straight piece. I can go straight fast. So if it's not a curve or anything like that, I'll normally try to just push the pedal down, and I won't even go top speed because top speed is almost scary. And as you can see, I'm terrible even with the tripod as a cameraman. I kind of forget where I'm at, and then I'll get off scene, and because I work and I'll forget that it's even on. Like you'll see later on the film, like I have a piece built already that I thought the camera was recording the whole time, and I built the entire piece, and it wasn't. But as you can see, so what I'm doing off camera though is like I like to, even though I do lock stitches, I like to tie the stitches in the end because they I don't know, it gives me a warm fuzzy to know that there's a knot on the other side. And so what's happening right now is this is the French seam portion of it, and you can see my arm, my right arm keeps on going over to the right of the machine, and that's because I'm gonna turn the entire French seam because that's the best way I can control this machine and make sure that I sew in a straight, the straightest possible line that I can sew. And so you see my arm working over there in the time lapse, moving pretty quick, but it's a really, really slow process. But I mean, if I want it to look right, then I'm just gonna have to be patient and take my time and do it the slow way, or pay the money and go buy a servo to put on my machine so that I can do it slow by foot. But I just got the machine, so this is why I'm doing the project. I bought this machine specifically for this project, and so I don't have a servo. It is what it is. But this is the first half of it. So right there, you see me. I don't use the reverse lever on the machine to do my lock stitches. I just lift the foot up and pull the material back, and then go back over, which is pretty much the same exact thing that the machine does. Um, but I'm gonna try to zoom it here to get you guys in on some close-up sewing action. And it looks like I'm sewing for real, but this is turned by hand. But on the strength that it's going fast with the time lapse, it looks like a real sew. But I am gonna live life a little bit dangerously a couple times on this because, like I said, I can sew in a straight line fast, and so like I'll hit that that foot pedal to get through it quick because I have the patience of, I don't know, I have terrible patience. But there's that end product. Slowed it down so you can look at the end result. You can see there's a little couple variations on the seam line, but I mean I can live with it. I can live with that. And so we're doing the other side. Got it together. Now we're going to start the French seam on it. And I like the French seam whole thing with the whole going over or doing the seam allowances too large. It's like really it doesn't even matter when you're doing a French seam because French seams are in my and it might be the right way, but I'm guessing I ain't read, but it seems like if you want a piece to be flat, everywhere where you need it to be flat, there's a French seam. If you've ever looked at the inside of an upholstery seat or couch or whatever, and that's just what it does. But most people like French seams because the way it makes, because the way the stitching makes the seat look. You've ever noticed like more of your like high end cars or your cars that are made to look high end, they have a lot of French seam sewing on them. And so this was my main concern. Like I've had this machine for like about a month or two, and I was daring to not do this. Like I was afraid, and I just figured, let's go. What's the worst that could happen? I actually priced how much is it going to cost for me to like buy these seats over if I mess them up, and So I'm willing to pay that price. So I said, let's go. And what I found is that I got better and better and better at this the longer I did it. And like I said, I'm only doing the back seat of this video. And the video that you guys are going to see, you're going to see the first half. In this video, part one, this is the first half of the back seat. This is a time consuming. So if you're watching this and this is a 15-minute video, I've cut hours of work out of this video because I film every single solitary thing. But well, if I don't forget to turn the camera off, and you know, I just, you know, I got to make it uh, short enough to stay with people's attention spans if I want to put it on the video. Most people don't want to watch super long YouTube videos, especially if um, it's not like a personality style video like vloggers. Vloggers can make long videos because it's like you're going on an adventure with them or something. I don't know. And this foam right here, I found that this foam right here wasn't dense enough. So later after I assemble the seat, it's gonna I'm gonna have to put more layers of foam on there just to get it to like look like the factory seat. And so but you're not gonna see that happen all off camera. I mean the seat came out pretty decent. I got a couple of wrinkles in it that I think I can get out with steam, but we'll see. But we're getting it together. I get this on, and there you go. That's the full center back portion. And this is the piece I spoke of that I did off camera that nobody saw because I thought I was recording and I wasn't. And I'm gonna hook that up, and that is the full half of the back seat right there. Uh, and well, not really. There's another piece. I got to put the other side portion on it. You can see the seams. They look really nice. I'm pretty proud of myself on how well it came out. And this is like half the seat. And you'll see I'm gonna quickly put this other portion of it together. And then that'll be the end of the video, and I'll show you what it looks like. And the other side's gonna look just this exact like that. I got the center portion where the armrest goes and the cup holder, but that is what it is right there. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out so far. I still got a lot of leather to do, and this is going to conclude our video right here. That's that 2008 Cadillac CTS seat right there. Put that piece on, and then we're done. Thanks for watching.
This ain't nothing new, it's what we been doing. What we been doing. What we been doing. This ain't nothing new.